Уважаема госпожо президент, уважаеми гости, уважаеми колеги, добре дошли на 9 май в 13:15 часа във Варненския свободен университет. Очакваме всички едно и също събитие, а събитието е откриването на поредният трети майсторски клас във Варненския свободен университет. Бих искала да кажа, че всъщност нещо, което на всички присъстващи тук е добре познато. Амбицията на академичния състав на Варненския свободен университет, на преподавателите и студентите е високата професионална подготовка на нашите студенти, бакалаври и магистри, на нашите доктори. Вие знаете, че в своя собствен опит, че майстор се става трудно. Почти е невъзможно да станеш майстор само работейки със своя опит, изучавайки литература, трудейки се сам. Майстор се става, ако има и кой да ти подаде ръка и да сподели своите опит и своите знания. Затова тук сред нас са доктор хонорис кауза на Варненския свободен университет, проф. Джордж Вредевелд, гост за нас е и си сред нас е, но вече бих казала не само госта, може би част от нас, професор Ричард Макдоналд. Тук сред нас за първи път е и Джейн Лаутербах, също с готовност да сподели своя опит. Гост сред нас е и госпожа Елена Косева, и всички те са с готовност да представят своя опит, да ви помогнат да изградите вашите майсторски умения. А как това ще се случи, предлагам да разкажа накратко декана на факултета, който е домакин на този майсторски клас, а и бих казала на почти всички майсторски класове до този момент, превеждани в университета, доцент Елеонора Танкова.
Уважаема професор Вредевелд, уважаема професор Герчева, професор Павлов, скъпи гости и колеги, настоящото трето издание на майсторския клас, организиран съвместно отново с Университета в Синсинати, Съединените щати, продължава да прилага една много успешна формула. Основата на тази формула е съчетанието на няколко важни и ключови компонента и елементи. Не по важност искам да ги изборя пред вас. На първо място, това е прилагането и използването на интердисциплинарния подход в обучението. Нещо, което ние продължаваме да прилагаме и то доказва своята успешност и полезност. На второ място, това е използването на модерни, съвременни, интерактивни и виртуални форми на обучение, които ни помагат да скъсим разстоянието, да преодолеем времето и да се докоснем до много по-голяма експертиза и възможност за споделяне на опит. И на трето място, може би най-важното в случая, това е високия професионализъм и експертност на лекторите, които представят проблематиката пред вас. Уважаеми участници в майсторския клас, през следващите 3 дни вие ще имате възможност да дискутирате въпроси, свързани с бизнес, лидерството и предприемачеството, и то с наистина водещи международни утвърдени експерти от практиката от бизнеса. Чрез лекции, чрез реални казуси, чрез много дискусии, вие ще имате възможност да анализирате кои са тези ключови и важни фактори, които помагат на компаниите да бъдат успешни, да се справят с предизвикателствата в момента на глобалния пазар. Няма да представям лекторите, професор Герчева вече ги направи, но вие ще видите, че това са професионалисти наистина с международен доказан опит, които ще споделят важни, интересни и полезни, надявам се за вас, аспекти от това как на практика може да се постигне успешното бизнес лидерство. На последно място, разбира се, но също толкова важно, искам да спомена и четвъртия елемент от успешната формула. Това, разбира се, сте били участниците в майсторския клас. И аз с огромно удоволствие искам да съобщя на нашите гости, че в момента в тази зала аудиторията представлява една много богата компилация от експерти, от професионалисти в различни области, в различни професионални направления. И аз съм убедена, че такава една голяма концентрация от експертност, от опит, от професионализъм няма как да не доведе до много положителна синергия и до отлични резултати. Благодаря ви и на добър час.
Благодаря на доцент Антона. Професор Вредевелд, заповядайте.
Good afternoon. It's a wonderful pleasure to be here. Thank you to Barna Free University, the president, the provost, the vice presidents, to our dean. You once again have made this a very pleasant experience. We're going to be talking about business leadership and entrepreneurship. And it seems to me that in a growing economy, a vibrant economy, leadership and entrepreneurship are absolutely essential. We have some expertise here. Jean Lauterbach is a business consultant. She does a lot of work working with groups of business executives. She also will work one-on-one with top executives, helping them better understand the culture of their organizations, how to be more effective as leaders, and how to deal with important issues. Some of them are important problems that they might face. I met Jean maybe 10 years ago, and I was a member of one of the groups that she worked with, and I really admired her insights into business and into leadership. And when we were having a lunch together some time ago, I mentioned that I was going to do this seminar in Varna, and her eyes kind of brightened up just a little bit. And I said, well, Jean, we do these virtual lectures, and maybe you would like to do a virtual lecture and talk with the group in this way. And she says, actually, that's not what I had in mind. She says, I'd really kind of like to go to Varna with you. And so we made that happen, and we're really pleased. Rich McDonald Rich is really a star in education. Rich also is a good friend. I try to find out who's really doing good work and who's recognized as the very best, and then I think that would be a good friend to have. And so Rich has been that good friend. It's his third time here, and I think that within about 30 minutes of talking with Rich here in Varna, as we got together in Varna, we were talking about what the next trip would be. So Rich has done a lot of work with businesses. He's done some very interesting survey work with businesses. He's done what we call good applied research. And I think that he has a very good understanding of what it takes to do good research, and also the business community and how it works and operates. He's a professor at St. Cloud State University. St. Cloud State is in Minnesota. Minnesota probably had the worst winter in Rich's lifetime, my lifetime, when we arrived in Varna, Rich had arrived just a little bit earlier, and my wife noticed that there was some guy laying out on the sand in the sun, and didn't realize it was Rich. But anyway, we're enjoying a little warmer weather and the sunshine. So thank you, colleagues, for being here. But most importantly, I want to thank all of you for being part of this 3 days. We want to learn a lot. We've got outstanding speakers, many of whom will join us by means of the internet. And we should take advantage of this opportunity to ask questions of these people. We've built into this program an opportunity for you to ask a lot of questions. And the speakers, I think, are going to be very pleased to receive these questions. And it's a good way for them to respond to what you'd really like to talk about. So I'm going to say right now, excuse me, I'm going to say right now that when we have these speakers, it's going to be successful, but some of the success is going to depend on you. We want you to be engaged and to communicate with these speakers. And I'm sure that you're going to have some good questions. Please make sure that you ask them these questions and become engaged in this way. Once again, I told Galia I'd just say a few things, and now I've been talking for about 5 minutes. We'll start this program in just a few minutes, and I'm not sure who's on first, but okay. So we'll get ready to go. Do you have anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
Благодаря на професор Вредевелд. Може би госпожа Класова ще каже няколко думи като начало.
Уважаема професор Недялкова, професор Шерчева, уважаеми колеги, изключително ми е приятно да бъда тук сред вас и се надявам, че бидейки последна, ще се умея да дам оценката и реализацията на всички аспекти, на които лекторите ще обърнат внимание. И в нашата малка и скромна България, със нашите компании също имат същите проблеми, които макар да са в по-тежка среда, възникват и намират своите решения. Избрах тема, която да бъде интересна. Надявам се с това, че до някъде има и противопоставяне, до някъде трябва да се намира и правилен баланс, който проистича от психологическите разлики между половете. Надявам се, че тя е провокирала във вас въпроси, които след моето изложение ще могат да дискутираме съвместно. Пожелавам успех на цялата програма и очаквам с нетърпение включване в нея. Благодаря.
Благодаря, госпожо Косова. Ами, колеги, време е за работа.
In that case, I'll not stand behind the podium. And we don't have to have an interpreter this time. This is going to be done in English, and we can be a little more efficient. My topic today is to talk about some fundamental concepts of leadership. And I agreed to do this, and after I agreed to do it, I thought, maybe I should find somebody else to do it, because I hadn't spent a lot of time studying leadership. But I spent quite a bit of time looking at different authors, different discussions about leadership, and so what you're going to get is my interpretation of what good leadership is, and then we'll also talk about characteristics, and then how to develop some leadership skills. And we're going to have time for questions and answers. In fact, I think that we have enough time. We have enough time that if you have any questions as I talk, just raise your hand, ask the questions, and we'll have some good interactions. So this is what we like to do. Going in the wrong direction, here it is. And so the question is, what's leadership? And you can imagine that if we had all of you write down what's leadership, you'd come up with a lot of different reasons. I've tried to summarize it in this way. Now, when we talk about leadership, first of all, we're talking about something that has a direction. That is, we're going someplace. So what a leader does is to establish direction, not only for themselves but for the group. And it's going to be really important here when we talk about leadership, at least I believe it is, to think in terms of how the leader works with other people. Because that's what a leader does. A leader now is going to give direction for a group. A leader gains commitment from the group that he works with. And sometimes this is pretty difficult. But you're going to have to get people to go along with you. They're going to have to be part of the journey, and they're going to have to be committed to going in the same direction that you're going to go in. And of course, you want to motivate them to achieve. I'll probably tell you a few stories about my work. And I worked at the University of Cincinnati. I just used that in the past tense because on December 31 I officially retired from the University of Cincinnati. I'm going through some withdrawal pains, by the way. It's not always easy to do that, but I wanted to. I'll mention this as time goes on. We started a center for economics, an economics center, and we focused on education and research. In doing that, we had about 15 employees, so it wasn't a real big operation. There were only 15 of us. But one of the great things about this job was to see how motivated these 15 people were. And they really liked their job. They probably didn't like the director all that much, but they liked their job, and they had a real commitment, and I believe that they really wanted to achieve something. And in most cases, what they wanted to achieve was what we all wanted to achieve. So in that sense, I think we may have been successful here in this leadership. So what you want from a leader is someone who gets this group to work together, and in so doing, accomplish something that none of these individuals could do on their own. So, what do leaders do? Well, they model the way. They give examples. They demonstrate how you're going to take this journey. Good leaders often challenge the process. And so we're talking about a situation where some people might say, well, we've always done it this way. And a good leader will say, well, but maybe we've got to change that. Maybe we've got to do it another way. You say we can't do it, let's push it a little further and see if maybe we can. Good leaders inspire a shared vision. Importantly, they enable others to act. So if you're a good leader, you're going to be able to help somebody else accomplish something that they probably couldn't accomplish on their own. And they encourage the heart. I mean, there's an emotional attachment, and they'll encourage that. So I put pictures up here to go along with these things, modeling the way, and I'll tell you why I put Winston Churchill up here in a minute. But if you want to model the way, first of all, you've got to be honest. And being honest, by the way, you're going to find is one of the most important characteristics of leadership. And I think the reason it's such an important characteristic is because to be a good leader, to convince people to follow you, they've got to trust you. And they trust you when you're honest. You've got to set an example. You've got to demonstrate the right way to do things. Deeds match words. In other words, you keep on talking, but you never do it, or what you do is different than what you're trying to preach, or what you're trying to convince others to do. It doesn't work very well. So your deeds, how you do things, has to match what you're advocating. Little things equals success. And I think once again about my own work, a real deficiency for me as far as leadership is concerned is I was never very good at celebrating success. And success should be celebrated, and small things should be celebrated. And so little things lead to success, but you've got to recognize these little things that went right, and celebrate and let people know that you appreciate that. And then stay with the process through good times and bad. It's easy to stay with the process through good times, but staying with the process in bad times is also very important. That's what got me to put Winston Churchill's photo here. I thought he stayed with the process in World War II through good times and bad, and he had a lot of bad times. Challenge the process. If you challenge the process, you don't accept defeat as a good alternative. And you don't accept barriers as something that you cannot overcome. And so, if you challenge the process, you're going to meet and overcome barriers. You're never going to fear failure. By the way, if you do fail, it doesn't mean it's a terrible thing. But if you're afraid of failure, then you're never going to try. Because you can be sure you're going to fail at some point in time. And if that creates a lot of fear, then all of a sudden you're not going to be able to lead because you don't have the courage to go ahead. A leader encourages initiative in others to create change, and you treat every job as an adventure. Isn't that kind of a nice concept to think of a job as an adventure? Yeah, let's do that. That could be fun. That could be interesting. And so this would be challenging the process. Abraham Lincoln, I was thinking about him meeting and overcoming barriers, and he had more than a few. Inspire a shared vision. So now we're going to get everybody to accept the vision and to embrace it. And you have to be a catalyst for envisioning the future. Martin Luther King, in his most famous speech, says, "I have a dream." And he communicated that dream to millions of people, and they bought into it. It was a legitimate, good dream. One way you inspire a shared vision is to listen. That's something I think that oftentimes leaders don't spend enough time thinking about. You spend your time talking, just like I'm doing now, and you're not listening. But when you listen, you gain so much information, and you gain so many opportunities to really understand the people you'd like to lead. And one of the handouts, we're not going to have time to spend any time on it, but one of the handouts I have for you is on listening and how to be a good listener. And you encourage passion and enthusiasm. I remember I was visiting a friend of mine, and he was a really good leader. And there were some people in the office that was really kind of noisy. And he said, "Isn't this wonderful?" I says, "What's that?" He says, "All of this noise." And I says, "Yeah, I guess it's wonderful." He says, "No." He says, "They're just excited. And they're having a wonderful time, and they're enthusiastic, and every time they get enthusiastic, it gets noisy." He says, I love the noise. Enable others to act. I was starting to find a lot of this in the education process now. Our students are being trained how to interact. And we do this by having them work in groups. And they don't get all of the information by listening to the instructor. But they get information by interacting with one another. Well, your employees can also learn a lot by interacting. Group work provides a better product almost always than individual work. So a leader is going to get people to interact. A good leader is a good coach. Somebody who's going to help that individual build self-confidence. Jean will tell you all about coaching. She's done a really good job with that. A good leader fosters a collaboration by creating trust. And let me emphasize once again, if you want to create trust, you've got to be honest. You've got to be very honest with the people. Yeah, and with the people that you're working with. And of course, you want to create a sense of ownership for others. They want to think of this project as our project or as their project. It's something that they belong to, that they own, that they've got a piece of this action. And finally, we've got encourage the heart. You encourage the heart by recognizing contributions. I told you that was one of my weak points. Didn't recognize success nearly enough. And people I worked with, by the way, would tell me, you don't do enough of that. When I'd go home at night, my wife would tell me, you don't do enough of that. And I think that they were right. Simple actions, dramatic gestures. Saying, you know, somebody does a small thing. Say, brilliant. That was absolutely fantastic. Thanks for that effort. It was a great contribution. So you reinforce people. They do something well, you reinforce this. And it motivates them, obviously, to do more. And all of this means creating the spirit of community. And it makes so much sense when I think about it. You think about your day-to-day work. I think most all of you are working in some way or another. And you walk into a workplace, and you can walk into a community that is people with the same objectives, with the same enthusiasm, or you can walk into the workplace where people are doing what they have to do. You greet them in the morning. Dobro. You say good morning. And I mean, we've all been there. And so where do you want to work? You want to work where there's a sense of community. Where do you want to work hard? You want to work where there's a sense of community. And it's because it's inspiring. And that's what leaders do. They help to build this sense of community. Okay, what we're going to do here, and let me see how many people we've got. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. Well, here's what I want to do. I've got 8 statements that I'm going to that I'm going to put up on the screen. And they're all quotations about leadership. And I want you to stand by the quote. We're going to number these wait, do we have that handout? We do. Oh, everybody has it. Excellent. So they're all numbered, I hope. Yeah, they are. Right. So what we're going to do here is, this is number 1 spot. Okay? And this will be number 2 spot. And this is number 3 spot, and 4 is over in the corner. Right? We've got 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we've got 8 places in this room. And I'm going to go through these quotations, and what I want you to do is to stand in the position that you most identify with. So here they are. Outstanding leaders appeal to the hearts of their followers, not their minds. Okay? Now, if you really like that one, you'd stand over in position 1. I suppose leadership at one time meant muscles. But today, it means getting along with people. If you like that one, you stand here. The very essence of leadership is that you have to have vision. 3rd position. True leadership must be for the benefit of the followers, not the enrichment of the leaders. This would be the 4th position. Leaders instill in their people a hope for success and a belief in themselves. Positive leaders empower people to accomplish their goals. That would be position 5. If I have seen farther than others, it's because I was standing on the shoulders of giants. That would be 6. Rich is pretty tall, so that's one reason I like him. He helps me see farther. No man will make a great leader who wants to do it all himself or get all the credit for doing it. That would be number 7. And an army of sheep led by a lion would defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. And that would be the 8th position. All right? So you ready? I want you to stand by your quote now. Take that position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whichever one you like the best. So I'm going to try to find out why you selected the one that you did. By the way, let's take a look at this. Outstanding leaders appeal to the hearts of their followers, not their minds. I don't know who said that. I suppose leadership at one time meant muscles. Today it means getting along with people. That was Indira Gandhi. The very essence of leadership is that you have to have a vision. That was Theodore Hesburgh, the president of Notre Dame University. American University. True leadership must be for the benefits of followers, not the enrichment of the leaders. Robert Townsend, a TV and movie producer. Leaders instill in their people a hope for success and a belief in themselves. Positive leaders empower people to accomplish their goals. I don't know. That's Mr. Unknown. Isaac Newton, if I've seen farther than others because I was standing on the shoulder of giants. Andrew Carnegie, no man will make a great leader who wants to do it all for himself or get all the credit for doing it. And this is an old proverb: an army of sheep led by a lion would defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. Okay, so group number 1. Outstanding leaders. That's group number 1, right? Who? There are 4 of you who selected number 1.
Number 1 and 2, I think they're very connected.
Well, yeah, but you have to go either 1 or 2. You're going to stay at 1. All right. So tell me, why would you go with 1? Go.
I'm actually inspired by one motivational speaker. Maybe you have heard of him. His name is Sinek. And he said that you have to begin with why to inspire people, and you have to go for their emotions, with their heart, and that people take decision mostly through their limbic system, which is their emotional intelligence, and that's why I think that we have to understand people, motivate them.
All right, so you see these emotions, emotional intelligence being very, very important. Probably overlooked in many cases, but very important. Okay. Thank you. Number 2. Why did the 2 of you select number 2?
Actually, it seems that we are the minority. Well, I think working along with the people means equality between the leader and the worker. Just because of equality, and the successful team is when the leader works with the team.
Yeah. Indira Gandhi would have agreed with you.
Yeah.
The very essence of leadership is that you have to have vision. What do we have? 2, 4, 6 people in that. Who'd like to say why? Who wants to volunteer?
I simply think that all of 8 goals are true.
Yes.
In order to start whatever it's like, you have to have a vision for your goal. That's why it goes number 2. I chose number 2.
And number 4. Oh, true leadership must be for the benefit of the followers, not the enrichment of the leaders. You like that? Why?
Well, I got first here and I was afraid I'm alone, but she's my colleague from the same university.
Yes.
And I'm happy we agreed. First of all, I find in each sentence something true. But this one especially, I believe, if I can reach everybody who is agreed to follow me, then I'm rich enough to be the leader.
Yeah. If you want people to follow you, you've got to demonstrate the benefits for doing so. Yeah.
Yes, I guess this one takes the most of what is the meaning of the leader.
Yeah. I got criticized for this one too. When I went home, my wife sometimes said, I know you want to accomplish this, but it's not always about you.
Yes. And I believe to work for the benefit of others is the best you can do.
Thank you. Do you disagree with her?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay, good.
To add something.
All right.
Except what she said, this leadership wouldn't last if it wasn't for the benefit of the followers.
That's correct. Yeah, that's right. Okay, number 5. Oh yeah, this is by Mr. Unknown. Leaders instill in their people a hope for success and a belief in themselves. How many in 2, 4, 5? 5 people chose number 5? Okay. Why?
Why? Because the hope is the last thing which died in the world. And if the people hope, they will live forever. And of course, if they believe in themselves, if you show them the way how to do this and how to believe in themselves, so they should do a lot of possible things just to improve themselves in front of themselves. And in the morning when I still in the mirror, I just wonder why I'm doing this. But if I don't like the answer, I don't go to work.
hope really, I like your statement. Is you focus on that hope. And people don't have hope.
What we do?
What exactly?
At the first.
Yeah. Where are we? Number 6? Oh, if I seem farther than others, it's because I was standing on the shoulder of giants. How many people picked number 6? 1, 2, 3, 4? No? You're 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me why.
Because I want to stand a bit stronger. If there are such kind of giants, you
right.
can see
Right.
it. Yeah.
Do you want to stand on Richard's shoulders? No.
I'm working with a lot of people, and I think that my team is the best. They are the gentlemen. And standing on their shoulder, I'm going to.
Good. Good. No man will make a great leader who wants to do it all himself or get all the credit for doing it. Let's see, that's number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did you choose 6, 7, 8? Oh wow, this is by far the most popular one. I think more people.
need an explanation.
You don't think it needs an explanation? Yeah. Why did you choose it though?
I was happy to see that this quote is by Andrew Carnegie.
Yes.
I think that all quotes are true, but if you want to reach really big goals, this is impossible without following the 7th quote.
Yeah.
And this man has really extreme results.
Kidding. Yeah. Did. In many ways. In the old proverb here, an army of sheep. How many people took number 8? Okay. 3.
4 more.
Tell me why.
One,
Yeah.
because we talk about leadership here. It's about your competition. It is not undertold. If you're a real lion, you can paint a lance and never even for sheeps. And that's why I think I chose this.
Okay. Okay. No?
Yes, we're together. All these people are in the old program.
Okay.
I think it's the best because we haven't seen the authors. Now we have seen them. So the people, what the people said is the most, I think, important by this old program.
Right. Okay. Good. All right. Thank you very much. You may stay standing if you want, but you'll probably be more comfortable if you sit down. You won't have to make any choices here. You're talking to Constantine, not to me.
No, sorry.
Oh, okay. There was some research on what the most important traits were in a leader, and I thought it was kind of interesting. I wanted to show you. This is what people said. The question was, what's the most important characteristic for leadership? These weren't necessarily leaders, but it was just a general question. What's the most important for leadership, or what's the most important characteristic in your leaders? And this is in order. Number 1 is honesty, and I think people need to trust the leader. And without trust, you've got a real problem. Without trust, you really don't have much hope. Without trust, you don't have enthusiasm. Without trust, nobody's reaching your heart. So So honesty is a really important thing. Vision, leaders know where they and their followers want to go. You have a vision. Inspiration. A leader's enthusiasm will show when asking others to get on board. So I'd really like you to do this job. By the way, you probably won't want to do it, but if you could do it, we'd appreciate it. It's not going to be as effective as I really have something interesting. I think you'd really like to do this. I've tried it. It's a lot of fun. Would you join me on this? And let's go with it. And finally, the fifth one here is competency. Leaders are capable of getting things done. And all of these are really true. Sometimes you see people and you say, boy, this is a really nice person, very enthusiastic, but totally incompetent. They don't get it done. They keep talking and they never get it done. And so that's not leadership. I just didn't want to leave out some of the other ones, but there they are. And incidentally, if any of you would like these slides just to review them for whatever reason, we'll make those available to you. The file for this PowerPoint. I'm going to get you to do a little more work here. And what I want you to do is to form groups of 4. All right? I'd like you to form groups of 4, and or maybe we can do groups of 6. It might be better if we just do groups of 6. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a look at our group of people here, and we've got Gandhi, we've got Bhutto, we've got Gorbachev, we have Mother Teresa, we have Nelson Mandela, and we have Thatcher, Margaret Thatcher. And, so what I'd like you to do here, this is amazing. I'm just looking at this group of people, and 3 of them have died like in the past 2 years, haven't they? Thatcher, Mandela, and Bhutto. But anyway, I want you to take a look at these groups of people. We've got 6 people here, and as a group, we'll do this fairly quickly. Just identify the characteristics that made them a good leader. And what I'm worried about, though, I might come back to this. I think I'm just decided we're not going to do this because we're going to run out of time. We've got our speaker coming on at 3 p.m. or 15, and so we have to make sure we're ready for that. So I'm going to just skip ahead, and if we got some time, we'll come back to that. So forget about that. Types of leadership. I think that for a long time we felt that a good leader was autocratic. A good leader says this is the way we're going to do it, and it's going to get done quickly, and so on. We looked at a no-nonsense kind of person, and made decisions without consensus. Most people feel that type of leadership doesn't last very long. Fits and starts. You know anybody like this? They go like crazy and then they're on to something else and then boom, they're going ahead and then they get involved in something else. So they have sporadic moments of inspiration. Inclusive. The inclusive person says, well, we're going to give everybody an opportunity to participate in this decision, and we want to make sure everybody has their own their say, and we want to include everything or everyone. Nice idea, but it might be very, very inefficient. Self-sacrificing. This is many of us had mothers like this. They say, "Oh, I'll just do it myself." And you know what? If you say, "I'll just do it myself," what you're doing is you're severely limiting your capabilities. What you want to do as a leader is, I think of as building competence, building capacity. All the time you want to be able to build your assets. You want to build on the skills of people so that your group can produce more. And if you say, "I'll just do it myself," guess what? You're not building. You're not building the competency, the capacity of your group. De facto leader. Well, this is the person who's almost who gets placed in the leadership role. Why? Because that person is the hardest worker. You say, "Yeah, maybe we should reward him." This happens a lot. You take a very good worker, put that person in a leadership role, and they're not successful. Controlling. Controlling. This makes the mistake of being. It makes the mistake of thinking being in charge is the same as being a leader. They're not the same. Being a leader doesn't mean you're in charge, controlling all situations. Popular but overcommitted. You're well-intended and helpful, but you're just too busy. You can't get to it. But you're sure working hard. But you're overcommitted. And you don't have the support structure you need to get to where you really want to get. Never make a decision before it is time. I guess I was thinking about my own weaknesses here, but there's sort of some procrastination. Biting off more than we can chew. True leadership is leaders motivate people to work toward a common goal. They see a problem and fix it. They consult others, but can also make decisions on their own. They're not slowed by ego or by being obsessed with getting credit. They are clear in helping people to work towards a common goal. Offer tools, ideas, inspiration, and persistence to get things accomplished. So, how does a person develop these kinds of skills? You've got a lot of people who will help you, and sometimes we don't ask for help enough. You've got families and family and friends who can help you. They'll help you get a job done. They'll help you develop your own leadership skills. Colleagues and so in order for you to gain support from others, one, you've got to know your goal. You really have to know where you're going to go. And one thing you should do is you should get to know your organization's leaders. If you work for a large company, you ought to know really who's leading this company and what the relationship is. You should know the structure and the network of the organization in which you live. or in which you work. You ought to have a plan. You have to have goals. You should have a plan, and you should identify step by step what it is that you want to do. You identify allies and help and ask for help. And you know, one of these I'll call them false qualities of leadership is you decide you're going to do it all by yourself. You self-sacrifice. You're not going to ask for help. It's a terrible mistake. It's a terrible mistake. Finally, you should find mentors. There are people who can help you out. There are people who can explain to you how to get things done, how to be a leader. And you know what? If you go ask these people, could you help me understand this a little better? They'll be more than happy to do it because you've just paid them a huge compliment. And you want to take advantage of that. So you want to know your goal. You've got to be clear. You've got to stick with it. It might be tough. It might be difficult. What do you want? Who knows about this? If you want to be a leader and you have certain goals, but nobody else knows what the goals are, you ain't no leader. So who knows about this? And who can help you? And do these people know what you want? Know your leaders or supervisors. You've got to articulate your goals. You've got to be consistent. And now this third one here, how do your leaders benefit? So you want to do something, you've got a boss or a leader or somebody out there, and you'd like to do something and get something accomplished, and you say, well, your boss is thinking, why does this crazy guy want to do this? And the boss has got to figure out, or your leader's got to figure out, how it benefits the leader. It can't be all you. It's got to also benefit the leader, and make sure that that leader understands. Don't be shy and speak up. Make a good plan. Be systematic. Be confident. Be specific. Break your goals into smaller steps. And you want to visualize success. It's out there. The success is out there, and you want to have a good vision of that. Explain the specifics of your goal. If you're going to ask for help, list the help you need, and then follow up. By the way, a lot of times people say, hey, I really could use some help, and the person says, I'll be happy to help you, and then you don't follow up with the person. You got to follow up. And you see, what you're doing is you're creating a group of allies. You're creating a group of people who are going to work with you and help you accomplish what you want to do. So give them good feedback and follow up. And seek ongoing guidance. I really want to emphasize this, because mentors, other people can help you. And they're going to want to help you. They're going to enjoy helping you, and it's going to make just a heck of a lot of difference. So that's just a summary. Know your goal, know your organization, step-by-step plan, and that is the end. And I told you, please feel free to ask questions, feedback. Almost nobody interrupted me to do so, but we've got about 3 minutes for questions or some feedback. Does anybody have a comment that you'd like to make? Well, if nobody has a comment, then we're going to have to take a break, which I think is on the program. So let's take a break at 3 o'clock. We're going to come back. We're going to talk with Bob McEwen. I want to tell you something about Bob McEwen here, our next speaker. He'll be talking to us from Cincinnati, Ohio. Bob McEwen has made a career with General Electric. It's a big company. It's a real big company. and he's been a top executive for GE. I've never met him in person. I've talked to him on the telephone several times. And when I told him what we wanted to do, he says, "Hey, that's kind of interesting. I'd be happy to do that." He's thought a lot about leadership, and he's writing a book on leadership based on his experiences with General Electric. Most recently, he was with GE Aviation. GE Aviation makes the big jet engines, and sells them throughout the world. The headquarters for GE Aviation is in Cincinnati, Ohio, and that's why we called on Bob, and that's where he's done a lot of international work. And he said to me, he says, it's really amazing. He said the leadership principles are the same throughout the world, but and I says it's maybe because we're all human. He says, yeah, that's probably right. I'm really looking forward to hearing from Bob McEwen, and he'll be on at 3 p.m. or 1500, and so don't be late. And we'll adjourn for a break right now. Thanks.